my background. I'm a solid Gehi.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a special edition of our live streaming session on immigrationquestion.com. My name is Anusia Mukherjee, and I will be your host for today's session. Every student has a dream to get the best education, to attend one of the best universities like Harvard and MIT. You would get your admission letter, your F1 visa, and you would be ready to get to your dreams. You pack two suitcases, and you're ready. You weren't just leaving home, you were chasing opportunities, building a future in the land where hard work was supposed to be enough. But today, that promise feels fragile. Students are being sent home for a job they didn't know was unauthorized. Others are flagged and detained for expressing opinions online. Opinions protected by free speech but punished through immigration law. This isn't just a policy debate anymore. It is a crisis that's reshaping the lives of thousands of international students across the US, and one that demands our full attention right now. Welcome once again to this special edition of immigrationquestion.com's weekly webinar, The Student Visa Crisis. To help us navigate this, we're joined today by someone who needs no introduction on this platform. He's not only a highly accomplished immigration attorney, but a tech innovator who's changing the way legal services are delivered. He's the founder of My Legal Software, a platform that's helping attorneys streamline practice and scale efficiently. With over 20,000 immigration cases handled in his career and features across Fox News, ABC News, Reuters, and the New York Times, great minds he's also one of the great minds behind immigrationquestion.com itself. Please welcome back our distinguished guest, attorney Naresh M. Gehi. You're welcome, sir, and it's always a pleasure to have you with us.
Firstly, thank you so much, Anu, for this fantastic introduction. And I must say that we are going to talk about student visas. And I understand that there are a lot of students who are very nervous about losing the status. First, as one of the founders of Immigration Question, I must thank this platform. The best part about Immigration Question is right now, if you are watching this, you can download the free app and ask your immigration questions. And it's very rare to find a platform wherein you can actually find, you know, an app wherein you can ask your questions, and some lawyers may answer it free of charge, but you can definitely post your question free of charge. So lawyers have the discretion to either waive the fee or charge you a fee. So this is an excellent app for students, and this is excellent for anyone who has an immigration question. And the best part is you can pick the lawyer of your choice. That's what I like about immigration question. And if you're an attorney, it's great for you to interact with people. And it's fantastic for you to, you know, pick and choose clients if they want to become your clients. A fantastic interactive portal. Now let's start hitting the nail on the head. Student visas. What is happening?
Exactly.
People are
So,
scared. People are nervous. People don't know what's going on. Now, immediately got a letter in the mail, in your email, that your service has been terminated. The number one thing is that, is it scary? Of course, it is scary because you've been in this country for a while. And why is it getting terminated? The law on the point is very simple. Under Section 214 of the INA, you are granted a student visa. You have violated the terms and conditions of your visa status. That is why the student advisor is sending you a notice of termination of your student visa. But The way this is happening is quite kind of unusual. Nowadays, visas are getting revoked after that student visa. Representatives at universities are getting this, intimation from ICE to terminate your status, and here goes your service, you're in trouble. So that is the long end and short end of what is happening. But after this, there's a lot more for us to talk. We're going to talk about what solutions you have, what can you do, and is there any reason for you to be nervous, and how can you protect yourself, and whether there are any protections or no protections. And any questions so far?
Yes, I do have some questions for you, sir. Um, my first question would be, can you walk us through what the current law says, and what happens when student unknowingly cross that line?
All right. The current law says that a student who has been granted the F1 visa will comply fully with the terms and conditions of the visa. That means if you don't have authorization to work, you will not work. If you have authorization to work on your CPT, it should be related to curricular practical training and not otherwise, which means you should be enrolled in an institution wherein you respect the laws of that institution and the immigration laws of the United States. Take an example about a student who is in the university and who doesn't have any authorization and he is working on cash. That is a clear violation of status, number one. Second issue is that you went for a party, you got drunk, and you got pulled over by a cop, and you are in a state like Texas, which is very conservative when it comes to immigration matters, because under Section 287G of the INA, the police have coordinated with immigration and they are letting immigration know that this particular student is in violation of his or her status. So that is the number two thing which is happening. Third is that you got a false letter from an employer for your CPT and you get caught, and that's a violation again. So be careful about how you are navigating your student visa, because if you do not follow the rules and regulations, then there'll be a drastic impact upon your student visa in the United States of America.
That is understandable. My second question would be, sir, we have seen some recent cases where students are being deported because of tweets, protests, and comments that they've made online. What does this say about the evolving risk tied to freedom of speech? Can immigration status really be jeopardized by a post?
In my personal opinion, now please, this is my opinion. I'm not asking people to do it. In the current administration, please don't do anything that is going to kind of incite a riot or something that's going to jeopardize your status. Simple thing I would like to say is try to stay out of trouble. There's a very good saying in English that never trouble trouble till trouble troubles you. So, in this administration, if you're going to actually exercise your rights and you are a foreigner and your chances of jeopardizing your status is very high, so lay low is the best way to kind of be during these difficult times until the Supreme Court actually rules about what rights are given to aliens in the United States, especially when they're on student visas or other non-immigrant visas. So the bottom line is just try to basically, be as conservative as possible, or, especially because things are very difficult these days.
That is understandable. So, for a student watching this, wondering how to protect themselves, here's a critical question. If a student is under investigation for either unauthorized work or something they posted online, what should be their very first step?
Get in touch with a good immigration attorney. Uh, Second thing is exercise your right to remain silent. You don't have to tell them anything. The worst they may do is they may detain you, but be very respectful to the immigration officer, that is the ICE officer, and let them know, sir, I would like to make sure that I have an attorney represent me. And if you ever get pulled over by the cops, bottom line is exercise your rights under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution, wherein you should let them know that I want to remain silent. And under the Sixth Amendment of the Constitution, I would like to have an attorney represent me in my proceedings.
Right. That's some very valid points. A lot of families abroad send their children to the US assuming safety, structure, and fairness. But when deportation becomes a real threat, even without criminal activity, what can parents do to help their children avoid these situations?
I've handled many, many deportations over the years. The first thing parents need to do, or if there's a student here, the best thing for him to do is to get in touch with a very seasoned immigration attorney. And we handle immigration cases from all of the United States and the world. The next thing that we do is we see that what can be done in this case, whether the student has actually violated status or no, and whether the crime that was committed by the student, whether it's a violation. Not many people know that. Second, whether it's a felony or whether it's a misdemeanor. So violations generally, there's a small provision, especially in New York, that says that a violation is not a crime. So we need to actually kind of explain these issues to the court. And some of the immigrant, some of them are very nice. They may tell the student, okay, we are going to release you on parole, because parole is a right which has been granted to ICE officials, to make a determination on a case by case basis. If you're in jail, there's another thing that you can do is if you are from a country wherein you cannot go back, you can consider applying for political asylum, which means if you let them know that you're scared to go back because of your race, your religion, your membership in a social group, then under Section 208 of the Immigration and Nationality Act, you can even consider filing a late asylum. The next thing you can do is if you're dating someone who is an American citizen, consider getting married. So that is a home run in these cases. So if your fiance cares a lot about you, and if he's an American citizen, or even if he has been a green card holder for a long time, there may be light at the end of the tunnel. The next thing is if you're before an immigration judge, and if you have been living here for more than 10 years, and you have children here, or if your parents who are green card holders or citizens, you may be eligible for cancellation of removal. If you have been divorced from a US citizen, and even if that person did not apply for a green card for you, and if you're before an immigration judge, and if you are a victim of abuse under VAWA, which is the Violence Against Women's Act, that applies equally to men, then in those instances, you can consider cancellation of removal under VAWA. You can also consider Section 240 of the INA, under which you've been here for 10 years, and if you can show extreme, exceptional, or unusual hardship to your parents, your children, or to your spouse, then you may also be eligible for cancellation of removal, uh, you know, uh, under a different category of the INA, which is known as cancellation of removal for non-permanent residents.
Thank you for that, sir. To our amazing audience, thank you for joining us. If you're tuning in from any social media platform, we're excited to have attorney Gehi, a seasoned immigration attorney who has contributed significantly to today's topic. This is immigrationquestion.com, a platform designed to simplify the process. Ask your immigration questions for free in any language and get connected with a verified attorney who can offer legal guidance. We may also receive a free confidential initial consultation. Visit immigrationquestion.com and sign up today. Very quickly, Attorney Gehi, for a platform that seeks to aid the immigration journey of every documented and undocumented immigrant by connecting them with seasoned immigration attorneys like yourself, what do you think of immigrationquestion.com and what we do for the immigrant community?
So the whole idea behind this entire project, and as I said, I'm one of the founders of this project, was that we wanted immigrants to have a place wherein they can ask their immigration questions. So immigration question was meant for people to have a proper place wherein they can ask their immigration questions without struggling, by going on 100 places to find a lawyer. That's number one. Secondly, we thought that access to a lawyer is very important. So, we said that why don't we come up with an idea where other lawyers can also participate? And I think you have 60 lawyers right now. But remember one thing, folks, the fee that you have to pay to an attorney is always decided by the lawyer, not by immigration question, because it's the law. And anything that you talk to your lawyer is between you and the attorney. And that's how these portals are. And that's how the government of the United States wants it. And I think it's a fantastic platform for people who have immigration questions to sign up and ask questions. Now, as an attorney, what I've seen is that even I get people getting referred to me, and I've taken some of those consults, and I've been lucky that some of them have converted into clients. So it's a win-win for immigration attorneys as well as for users who have immigration questions. So the service has been good so far, and I think of course, it's growing at a very fast pace, and that's what I like about immigration question. And as I said, I'm one of the founders of it.
Thank you so much, Attorney Gehi. Just before we get into the live Q&A really quickly, what
Now,
would your...
Anu, there's one
Yes.
thing I'd like to tell people. This is a live show right now. So you know what? I'm going to share a secret with all of you. Since I'm live right now, take advantage. You see that number on your screen there, 516-703-3483. You can call and I'll be happy to answer your question. And another secret, download the app now. And if you want me to answer questions, even I'm available on this app. It's fantastic. Register. Another secret, it's free right now. So take advantage of those things, folks. And, as I said, some lawyers may charge you a fee. Some of them will not charge you a consultation fee because it's entirely up to the attorney in this platform. But, there are some lawyers who are offering a free consultation. So it's a win-win for lawyers as well as for attorneys. Now, let's talk about something very important. Oh, yeah. And what happens if a person is
Mhm.
detained?
Yes.
There is one avenue that people have because a lot of parents don't want to take stress. The person can even go for voluntary departure, which means you're leaving the country voluntarily. So someone asked me, will I still be allowed to come back? There may be a possibility if your crime was very minor, if your violation was not serious. There's a waiver available under immigration law that is known as the 212D waiver, D3, D5 waiver, that's what I call it. And the leading case on the point is the matter of Haranka, under which, suppose if you committed any crime which is serious, the good news is that the consulate who will interview has the discretion to waive it and allow you back in the United States. So don't be afraid, and it's not the end of your life, but having a good lawyer goes a long way because sometimes you can fight for reinstatement of status. Sometimes you can change your status. Sometimes you may be eligible to go for a not for profit H1B. On a not for profit H1B, there is no quota. And sometimes you may be eligible for a O visa if you are extraordinary. So, a good attorney will tell you about different ways through which you may be able to navigate your immigration status. But if you're going to be bullheaded and if you're only thinking of reinstatement, that may or may not be the right advice, because if your crime is serious and if your violations are serious, your chances of getting back on a student visa can be very slim.
That's a very good point, sir. Thank
And
you for
yes,
that.
if people have to reach me, my phone number is 718-263-5999, and my website is gehilaw.com, gehilaw.com.
Thank you for that, sir. Just one quick question. What's your advice to universities? Should schools be doing more to educate their international students regarding these risks and put them at ease?
First thing that universities should do is actually, during the orientation, they should let them know what are the do's and don'ts of the student visa. And they need to kind of create videos. Don't drink and drive, and don't engage in activities that are going to jeopardize your status. Third, they should also educate them that be careful of unscrupulous employers who may just give you a CPT letter and that can mess up your status. And the next thing they need to know is make sure that it's better to get paid less but work with good people, which means provided you're in compliance of the immigration laws. Because sometimes some employers will show you the moon, but at the end of the day, in the long term, you may face devastating consequences. So, in English, it's very wisely said that be safe rather than being sorry.
Thank you for that, sir. To our audience, the floor is now open for question and answers. Please feel free to type your question in the chat box. We are already receiving a lot of questions. For example, um, Ashutosh is really interested to know, sir.
So,
I'm
two,
particularly interested.
so
Ashutosh
287,
Ranjan. Yes,
yeah,
go
so
ahead.
287 of the INA talks about the sharing of data between ICE and between the state, especially when a person is detained or is intercepted by the police. So Texas is one fine example which is fully implementing it, and Florida is another example. And also there are some other states which have joined hands with with ICE to share the data. So you can look up those states, and that's not a good thing. And if the data is shared, ICE can even come to your house to pick you up and detain you if you are in violation of your immigration status in the United States.
Right. Next question. Hello, what can individual students do to navigate this challenging situation? Are there any proactive steps they should be taking?
My answer to that is prevention is better than cure. So make sure that you follow the rules and regulations of the F1 visa program, and you'll be absolutely fine. Never trouble till trouble troubles you.
Well said, sir. Question is, I've been hearing about all the student visas getting revoked without explanation. How do I protect myself from this?
Keep yourself on track with the requirements of the student visa. Number one, keep checking your service regularly. Make an appointment with your student advisor to see everything looks good. That's his job, to work with you and ensure that you're following the laws. So therefore, the simple answer to the question is be in touch with your student advisor.
For that one. Then Lawrence asked, if my study visa is revoked while I'm still in the US, will I have to contest the decision to stay in the country?
Yes, you can, basically, you can even apply for reinstatement of status. Speak to your student advisor why my visa was revoked, and they have to give you, you know, a reason why it was revoked, and you can still apply for change of status. You may be able to change your status during that time, possibility is on a visitor visa. I've done that too, and because you need time to kind of get back to another status, or you can even think about a not-for-profit H-1B. You can think about political asylum. You can think about getting married to a US citizen. If you're brilliant, you can think about the O visa. If you have been a victim of crime, you can be eligible for a U visa. That's why having a very good lawyer is a must in these cases. Experience of the attorney matters a lot in such matters.
Is it legal for DHS to just revoke student visas without informing the students or their schools?
Uh, my my personal answer is no. But right now they are doing whatever they want to. But this is being challenged in the courts. There are class actions going on, and let's see what the judges have to say. But as far as I'm concerned, what I think they're doing is something that I do not personally agree with.
Well said. Understandable. What can I do if my student visa was revoked on unproven allegations?
Get in touch with your student advisor. Tell them to apply for work with an attorney first. Anytime when you're applying for reinstatement of status, go with a good lawyer. And then after that, immigration may review the decision and they may overturn your decision. So work with the lawyer when you are applying for reinstatement of status. The mistake that people do, they just fill up the paperwork. And you have to understand most of these international student advisors, they are not lawyers. So work with an attorney of your choice. And I think they can find a good lawyer on immigrationquestion.com. You can go there, download the app, and hallelujah, you're 50% through. Pick an attorney of your choice. Problem solved.
Thank you for that. Another question is, what can I do that will cause them to revoke my student visa?
Commit a crime, violate the law, drink and drive, and other than that, start working without having a proper work authorization. Get a CP letter, which is a CPT letter from a person who's committing a fraud. These are the common reasons where people get into trouble with the law, so avoid them completely.
Thank you. Next question is, my college friend was detained by ICE after they revoked her visa because of a small offense from many years ago. What can she do?
Get in touch with an attorney immediately. And after that, we should be able to apply for bond in these cases if the crime was very minor or trivial, and a good judge may grant you a bond. And then later on, she can look into her immigration reliefs if there are any. But like there may be some. She may be eligible depending upon her facts. She may be eligible for asylum. She may be able to get married to somebody if she's dating someone. She may be a victim of a crime, or she may be eligible for an H-1B visa. You can go for a voluntary departure, come back on an H-1. It is very important for her to work with a good lawyer. And remember, folks, this program is live, and the number is 516-703-3483. And don't forget, if you like these programs, to share them, and you can go on Facebook and become a follower. So if you have more followers, you'll see me a lot more regularly. So I'm relying on all of you to make sure that you like this particular program, especially for my sake, on Facebook, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, and etc. etc. How's that?
Definitely. Thank you so much, sir, for that. And that brings us to the end of today's session. Thank you so much for joining us, and a
Last but
special
not the least, last but not the least.
yes.
All right, let's see what Sakshi has to say. So, Sakshi, you're the winner for the day. So I'm answering your last question. My college friend was detained by ICE after they revoked her visa, small offense many years ago. What can she do? As I said, get in touch with an attorney and get your situation resolved. This is attorney Naresh M. Gehi. The instant program constitutes an attorney advertisement. The information given in this program is general in nature and does not apply to any particular facts or circumstances unless and until a written agreement is entered into between you and the attorney. This is attorney Naresh M. Gehi from Gehi and Associates, and I can be reached at 718-263-5999, and my website is www.gehilaw.com. And thank you so much to Immigration Question for hosting this wonderful show, and a very big thank you to Anu for just
Thank
being a
you.
phenomenal host. And don't forget, you're going to see they have another show coming up, I believe. Can you please announce when is your next show so that people know? And what do you expect from people to do, for Immigration Question, Anu?
Well, our next show is again on Friday. We will be joined by attorney Devin Gandhi. He will be discussing more immigration based questions regarding immigration visas. If you've missed any part of today's session or want to listen again, the recording will be available on Spotify. To catch today's episode and past ones, search for Borderless Talk by immigrationquestion.com. Thank you so much, Attorney Gehi, for enlightening us
You.
today. I hope you were able to help some students through this very tough time.
Thank you. And I assure you that I'll be back again on immigrationquestion.com so that we can help people to understand and navigate the complexities of immigration law. Download the app and get in touch with me. As simple as that. Thank you all.
Thank you so much.